For decades, Unit H200 was a closely guarded secret, partially because this elite cyber and intelligence division doesn't just provide defense. In fact, they're responsible for one of the most aggressive cyber attacks in history. Stuxnet, a cyber attack that sabotaged the Iranian nuclear program by destroying centrifuges at the Natanz nuclear facility, is widely believed to be a joint operation of Unit 8200 and the NSA. And in 2014, 43 former members of 8200 wrote an open letter to the Prime Minister, refusing to serve because of the unit's widespread use of surveillance. We met with one of the soldiers who signed the letter.
Israeli intelligence is everywhere, literally everywhere, in the Palestinian territories. Doesn't matter whether they're suspect of something or not, whether they're political activists or whatever, no one's off limits.
What's wrong with that? If you're at war with another people and you've got complete surveillance, that sounds like quite an advantage.
The problem is when it goes beyond plain security. If someone's about to do an attack in Tel Aviv, then I could see why we'd want to know where he is or where he's going. But if you've got his brother, his sister, his cousin's friends, all of them tapped as well, then that's where it clearly crosses the line. If you find out that someone might be having an affair, someone is gay, when you come across that information, instead of it being put away as irrelevant, it's something that you would send forward and it would be used.
If someone's cheating on their wife and Unit 8200 have discovered this, what's the benefit of having that information?
Israel can approach them and get them to cooperate one way or another, be it get some information, go photograph some places, and what they get out of it is their secret is not being revealed.
It's blackmail.
Yeah, you can call it blackmail.
In this video, we're going to be talking about Israeli covert organizations within its military that entails signals intelligence, their training programs and methods, as well as counterintelligence. The 5 most covert groups in Israel. One of them is Unit 8200. The information I'm going to give on all 5 of these organizations are going to be coming from various sources that detail the intricate outlines and workings of these units within the Israeli Defense Force. So we'll start with Unit 8200, which is an Israeli intelligence corps unit of the Israeli Defense Force responsible for collecting signals intelligence and code decryption. Military publications include references to 8200 as the central collection unit of the intelligence corps, and it is sometimes referred to as Israeli SIGINT National Unit. It is subordinate to Amman, the Military Intelligence Directorate. The unit is comprised primarily of 18 to 21-year-olds. As a result of the youth of the soldiers in the unit and the shortness of their service period, the unit relies on selecting recruits with the ability for rapid adaptation and speedy learning. After-school programs for 16 to 18-year-olds teaching computer coding and hacking skills also serve as feeder programs for the unit. Former Unit 82 soldiers have completed their military service, gone on to founding and occupying top positions in many international IT companies and in Silicon Valley. According to the Director of Military Services at the Royal United Services Institute, Unit 8200 is probably the foremost technical intelligence agency in the world and stands on par with the NSA in everything except scale. The unit was established in 1952 using primitive surplus American military equipment. Originally, it was called the 2nd Intelligence Service Unit, then the 515th Intelligence Service Unit. And in 1954, the unit moved from Jaffa to its current base at the Gilead Junction. According to Peter Roberts, the Director of Military Services at the Royal United Services Institute, it is the foremost technical intelligence agency in the world. They are highly focused on what they look at, certainly more focused than the NSA, and they conduct their operations with a degree of tenacity and passion that you don't experience elsewhere. Unit A200 is the largest unit in the Israeli Defense Force, comprising several thousand soldiers. It is comparable in its function to the United States National Security Agency and is a Ministry of Defense body, just as the NSA is a part of the United States Department of Defense. Subordinate to Unit 8200 is Unit Hatzav, responsible for collecting OSINT intelligence, or multi-factor methodology for collecting or open source intelligence, analyzing, making decisions about data accessible in publicly available sources. The unit monitors and collects military intelligence, related information from television, radio, newspapers, and the internet. The translation of various items accounts for part of what is termed basic intelligence and is collected by the units. According to media reports, the unit provides half of the overall intelligence information for the Israeli intelligence community. The IDF's most important signal intelligence gathering installation is the Urim SIGINT base, a part of Unit 8200. Urim is located in the Negev Desert, approximately 30 kilometers from Beersheba. In March 2004, the Commission to Investigate the Intelligence Network Framing the War in Iraq recommended turning the unit into a civilian national signal intelligence agency, as in other Western countries, but this proposal was not implemented. Unit A200 is staffed primarily by the 18 to 21-year-old conscripts, and selection and recruitment to the unit usually occurs at age 18 through the IDF screening process after high school. However, the unit also scouts potential younger recruits through the after-school computer classes. These after-school computer classes teaching 16, 18-year-olds computer coding and hacking skills sometimes act as feeder programs for the unit, with students receiving invitation letters from the IDF. The 18-year-olds selected for the unit are primarily chosen for their ability to teach themselves and to learn very quickly, as the unit will only have access to their services for a short time before their military service period ends. The next unit is Unit 81. Unit 81 is a secret technology unit, part of the Special Operations Division of the Military Intelligence Directorate, an independent service of the Israeli Defense Force. The unit focuses on building and supplying outer edge technologies to Israeli combat soldiers and spies. It is often related to the Unit 8200 responsible for signals intelligence and code decryption. The origin of the unit is unknown. The unit existed at least the early days of the State of Israel in 1948 and was referred to as the Intelligence Branch 8, but must have existed in some form long before the establishment of the country in Shai, the Secret Service of the Underground Jewish Defense Forces, and Haganah under the British Mandate of Palestine. The unit was then responsible for the development of special technologies and the training of the operations and agents responsible for operating them. It was later called Unit 432. All operations of this unit are highly classified. The unit consists mainly of military personnel, but civilians also serve in the unit, including highly qualified experts in unique fields such as quantum physics, aerospace engineering, and nanotechnology. Among other things, the unit develops advanced cyber warfare weapons, tools for signals intelligence, and combat operations used by the Sayeret Matkal, the most elite special forces unit of the IDF that is also part of the Special Operations Divisions. The other unit is the Talpiot Program. The Talpiot Program is an elite Israeli Defense Force training program for recruits who have demonstrated outstanding academic ability in the sciences and leadership potential. Graduates pursue double higher education while they serve in the Army, and they use their expertise to further IDF research and development in technological leadership positions. The program was inaugurated in 1979. The initiators of the program were Professor Felix Dohan and Professor Shol Yatziv of the Hebrew University, who submitted the idea to Israeli Chief of Staff Raphael Itkan. The idea was to harness human creativity, which perks early, to develop new technologies for the Army. The program is sponsored by the Israeli Air Force and the IDF Administration for the Development of Weapons in the Technological Industry, and run by the auspices of the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. During their initiation period, the cadets study for their BSc in physics and mathematics. at the Hebrew University in Jerusalem in Air Force uniform, while also undergoing different periods of field training designed to familiarize them with branches of the IDF, infantry level 04 basic training, combat engineering courses, armored corps courses, artillery corps courses, instruction in military tactics, etc. At the end of the course, which lasts 40 months, the cadets receive the rank of the first lieutenant and a BSc and becomes integrated in R&D in the IDF and Israeli military industries, or alternatively, in various combat positions if they so choose. In addition to the 3 years obligated by the Israeli law, the services included 6 years of standing army service in a wide variety of positions. Total program, including military service, is 9 years. The first class had 25 cadets. Later, the class was increased to 50 to 60. The applicant pool consists of nearly 10,000 top scorers in the test taken by all graduating high school seniors. And 150 to 200 potential applicants are then subjected to a 2-day series of tests. These include further IQ exams as well as group tasks designed to test one's social dynamics, all conducted under the supervision of trained psychologists and military personnel. For example, teams of applicants are given a specific leaked test, then the instructions are changed while the test is in progress, such as shortening the allotted time for changing the assigned tasks. Final acceptance into the program entails a high security clearance rating given by the Air Force. In February 2016, a book called Israel's Edge, the story of IDF's most elite unit, Talpiot, was released and written by CNBC executive producer Jason Derwitz and published in Geffen in Jerusalem about the unit and the history of how it came into existence. The next unit is the Havatzalot Program. Havatzalot Program is an elite program in the Israeli Defense Force based upon the concept of the Talpiot Program, aimed to train highly skilled intelligence officers. The Havatzalot cadets complete a full 3 years bachelor's double major degree. The first major is a unique compilation of different courses in Middle Eastern studies, political science, and sociology. The cadets are free to choose their second major at the Hebrew University, in addition to rigorous military intelligence training. Training is followed by 6 years in key positions at Israel's Military Intelligence Directorate. The suitability to the Havatzalot program is tested and evaluated in several aspects. First, the candidates must be curious and have an affinity to current events and issues on the security agenda of the State of Israel. Second, they are required to have high learning abilities and to be outstanding students in high school. In addition, they must have high social skills and ability to lead. This is due both to the nature of the program's training and to the nature of the subsequent positions, in which graduates of the program are required to command teams through intensive and joint work. Candidates for the Havatzalot program are required to have a quality control group. One of the primary screening tools for candidates for service in the IDF of 55 and above, and a primary psychotechnical rating, a grade given by the IDF and the Israeli police to candidates for recruitment, which is supposed to reflect the candidate's intellectual ability based on a series of psychometric tests of 80 or higher. The training program for Havatzalot is one of the longest, most prestigious in the IDF. It provides the students with the knowledge, thinking skills, and values required for graduates of the program in their positions. Each year, about 40 trainees are accepted into the program. The program is 36 months long, and most of it takes place in closed-based conditions in the program's compound in Hebrew University. All of the teams of service and training content, including tuition fees for the academic degree, are fully funded by the IDF. Also, all the officers commanding during the training are graduates of the Havatzalot program. The training of the Havatzalot can also be divided into 4 main points: academy, military, intelligence, and ideological values. And the 5th unit we'll talk about is the Mista'arvim. Mista'arvim is the name given to counterterrorism units of the Israeli Defense Forces, Israel Border Police, and Israeli police who operate undercover. Such units are specifically trained to assimilate among the local Arab population. They are commonly tasked with performing intelligence gathering, law enforcement, hostage rescue, and counterterrorism, and to use disguise and surprise as their main weapon. The name is derived from the Arabic Mista'arvim, meaning those who live among the Arabs, which refers to the Mista'arvim Jews, the Arabic-speaking Jews who lived in the Middle East since the beginning of the Arab rule in the 7th century, prior to the arrival of Ladino-speaking Sephardic Jews following their expulsion from Spain in 1492. The Hebrew Mista'arvim derives from the Arabic Mista'arvim, literally those among Jews or simply Arabized. Israeli Mista'arvim are special forces who pose undercover as Arabs and operate within the Arab societies to accomplish missions, mainly Hezbollah and Hamas, and living amongst people of Lebanon, Jordan, and Israel. The Mista'arvim, just as Arabs, know the customs and etiquette of Arab society and speak fluent Arabic in the appropriate dialect. Mista'arvim have also participated in public demonstrations and may support the protests as if they were demonstrators themselves. Gary Spedding, a consultant on the Middle East, said that the activity of Mista'arvim allows the Israeli military and border police to identify protesters they wish to arrest and detain. Israeli affairs expert Antoine Shalat claimed that the main missions of the Mista'arvim include gathering intelligence and counter-terrorist operations. Training for these units consume about 15 months, with 4 months basic infantry training at the Mitkan Adnan Army Base, about 2.5 months of advanced infantry training in the same base, 2 months of the unit's basic training, which focuses on advanced urban navigation in the beginning of counterterrorism training, 4 months Mista'arvim course, which covers everything from learning Arab traditions, language, and a way of thought to civilian camouflage, including hair dyeing, contact lenses, and clothing. And 1 month courses of being a sniper, a driver, and different instruction courses. Those are just 5 of the most important Israeli covert units that are operating in the state of Israel. It's important to know who these units are, as well as the units of the United States and the Gulf, in which I'll be detailing in the next couple of videos.